Hi, my name is Dave Richards from Liquid Web, and today we're going to be looking at best practices for firewall rules. Your firewall rules are the heart of your firewall and will work to keep your server and network safe from outside intrusions. Believe it or not, the first best practice for firewall rules is documentation. Even though it can be tedious, documentation ensures that you know what your firewall is doing and why it's doing it. Good firewall documentation would include the purpose of each rule, the targeted services, affected users and devices, the date it was applied, so you can backtrack if services or behavior changes, the expiration date of the rule if applicable, so that you can remove unneeded rules from the firewall, and finally the name of the person who added the rule so you can follow up with them if changes need to be made. Second best practice is a formal change procedure. While this might seem overkill for a small business, a formal change procedure will allow you to keep your firewall rule set up to date and functioning properly. Users need a way to request changes. Once those requests are put in, you should have a review process for those requested changes. Once you've reviewed the requests, you can test those modifications before deploying them. Of course, deploy them into your production environment and validate the new settings. And finally, again, document all the changes that have been made so that you can revert those changes if a problem is detected. So, firewall rules should by default block all traffic that isn't meant to be allowed. While this can make setup a little bit more complicated, you definitely want to block as much traffic as you can so that only allowed and safe traffic gets through the firewall into your server or network. So you should set explicit rules first. Explicit rules are the things that you need the firewall to allow or deny, like anti-spoofing filters, denying local-looking addresses from external sources. The rules that your users are going to need to be permitted to use the firewall correctly, like allowing HTTP traffic to your web server. Management permit rules: if you're going to be managing your firewall from off-site, you'll need to allow for that kind of traffic. Noise drops like ICMP responses or SYN responses, you will want to drop that traffic so that your firewall can be more efficient. Next, you'll want to specify rules that should be denied and alerted that indicate suspicious behavior or malicious behavior on your firewall. You want to be alerted to an attack that might be ongoing. And finally, you can apply those rules that simply deny and log behavior. It's less likely to be suspicious or malicious, but you want to be able to review that behavior in the logs. You should also set an explicit drop rule. Once you've identified the traffic that should be allowed, you should drop everything else. A typical drop rule is source any, destination any, service any, action drop, and logging enabled so that you can check to see what kind of behavior is being dropped by the firewall. You should remove any accept all rules. Some firewalls may come with some accept all rules built in to make them easier to set up, but they're not safe and they should be removed. You should always audit your logs periodically. Those logs are there for a reason. Watch for traffic that might be attacking your server or network, and you can then take steps to adjust them. You should review the rules periodically to make sure that only traffic that's needed is being allowed in the firewall at any given time. And finally, keep your firewall up to date. The best rule set in the world won't help if your firewall is out of date and vulnerable to attack. Thank you for watching Best Practices of Firewall Rules. For more information on this topic or other helpful tutorials, please visit our knowledge base at www.liquidweb.com/kb or see our videos at www.youtube.com/liquidweb.